A bullet fired through the wall of an apartment, narrowly missing a grandmother sitting on her couch. Her 3 grandchildren also in the apartment. Tonight, she is now questioning her safety. Our TV6's Nicole Griffin is working for you, finding out where that bullet came from and what her apartment complex plans to do now.
That woman was getting ready for church when she says a bullet went through her wall and into her ceiling. Several of her grandchildren were inside when that happened. Now tonight, she tells me she doesn't feel safe inside her home.
As you can see, this is the couch where I was actually laying, was sitting up. But the bullet came through there and shot through the ceiling.
The damage left behind by a single gunshot fired through the wall of this apartment is a daily reminder for Miss T, who asked us not to use her full name, about what could have happened.
So now I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what if something else happens? You know, what do I do now? What does my safety look like? What do I do for my grandkids now? I take care of my grandkids every day.
Several of her grandkids were still at home after an overnight sleepover and birthday party Sunday morning when she heard the gunshot. She lives in the Lexington Park Apartments near 38th and Post Road. According to a police report, the shot appears to come from next door.
What if it had been one of my grandkids sitting here? What if it had been my 2-year-old playing on the couch and the bullet, come through? What if? The what if is astronomical. The what if has a price that no one wants to pay.
Miss T has not heard from her neighbors since the shooting. I asked the apartment complex what is being done. The manager tells me they are wrapping up their investigation and plan to evict the people responsible. They also say materials have been ordered to fix Miss T's ceiling and wall.
And if nothing else, have the decency to say, hey, look, I'm sorry. It was an accident. I was cleaning my gun. I was doing XYZ. Come on. Have respect and courtesy for your fellow man.
She says there are enough senseless murders and shootings, especially on the Northeast side. She hopes by speaking out, it will help bring the community together to look out for one another and protect each other. Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Ms. T says it took police 30 minutes to respond to the shooting and wished officers would have arrived sooner. But IMPD says since no one was injured, the call was dispatched as lower priority, and they say officers arrived within a reasonable time frame. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast, and it's mild and cloudy right now. Perfect weather for kids in Lawrence and Morgantown who are actually trick-or-treating at this moment. Trick-or-treat was moved in their communities because of tomorrow's forecast. Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory tracking that for us tonight.
And you look at the time and temperature in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, Erica, 6:06 and 70 degrees. That matches our high temperature for today. And I just say it matter-of-factly, 70. That's a big deal. We haven't been that warm since early October when we rattled off several 80-degree days. No rain now, so that's great in Lawrence County or any other community, or Lawrence or any other community that is trick-or-treating this evening. There'll be plenty of dry areas tomorrow, but we do have some rain to deal with. Here's the ribbon of warmth that comes into central Indiana. It won't last all that long. Cooler temperatures sit off to the northwest. Rain develops late tonight. We'll see periods of rain tomorrow and then wet and cooler as we get to Thursday. Temperatures overnight tonight just stay in the low 70s or low 60s and cool from our current 70-degree mark. 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Rain sweeps into central Indiana, sticks around at 10 a.m. So what about the all-important evening hours? I have your targeted forecast coming up.
Now to Democracy 2018. In less than an hour, the 3 candidates in the closely watched race for U.S. Senate here in Indiana will meet on stage for their second and final debate before Election Day 1 week from today. Incumbent Joe Donnelly, Republican Mike Braun, and Libertarian Lucy Brinton are all in a battle for your vote. RTV6's Rafael Sanchez is live at Newfields in Indianapolis for the big event. Rafael?
Erica, good evening. This is the site of the last U.S. Senate debate before Election Day. Of course, the debate theater is off limits now. That's why we are outside. As you can see outside right now, there are some supporters for Mike Braun behind that taxi cab that, of course, just drove by, but there are supporters there. Joe Donnelly arrived here about 15 minutes ago. He was in Fulton County, the site of that tragic fatal school bus accident, before arriving here in Indianapolis for the debate. Let me take you inside. This is the Toby Theater. We were given a chance to visit inside around 4 o'clock today. This is where at 7 o'clock there will be that debate between the Democrat incumbent Senator Joe Donnelly, Republican Mike Braun, and Libertarian Lucy Brenton. Just found out a few minutes ago that there will be some high-profile names campaigning with some of the candidates. Of course, we already know that President Trump will be here on Friday and Monday for Mike Braun, but also now learning that former Republican Senator Chuck Hagel of Nebraska, that was President Obama's former defense secretary, will be campaigning with the senator. That being said, a lot of high-profile names in the state of Indiana watching this high-profile race.
I believe it will help, and we believe Mike has done a great job over the last 14 months going through the 92 counties and meeting a lot of people himself and shaking a lot of hands, talking to a lot of people and seeing what their concerns are. So I think the duo together is a good team.
We've always felt that Joe's very capable of carrying out his own message. We don't need other folks flying into the state to help us, sell Joe's message or to make him a more palatable candidate. Hoosiers know Joe, Hoosiers like Joe, and Joe is his own best weapon.
This is a tight race. Voters will decide what happens on Tuesday. We're live on the city's north side at Newfields. Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
Rafael, thank you. And you can watch the debate in its entirety on the RTV6 app and Facebook page starting at 7. A program to give new life to abandoned homes is working. The milestone reached today. Call 6 investigates uncovers a problem with police body cameras. We're digging into the problem. The Pacers started a busy week with a loss at home. Coming up in sports, hear how they hope to bounce back from that one on their upcoming road trip.
And as we've talked about, rain headlines the forecast. Actually, a flood watch in effect. Southeast portion of the state could see 2 to 4 inches of rain. We'll talk about over what period of time coming up.
Mitchell for Indiana State Treasurer. From the station working for you, this is RTV6 News at 6.
We here at RTV6 want to offer our condolences to our colleagues at the Indianapolis Star and to the family and friends of columnist Matthew Tully. The Star announced in a tweet this morning that Tully died last night after a 2-year battle with stomach cancer. He was 49. Tully announced in June that he was taking another break from his column to focus on his health. He leaves a wife and a 7-year-old son. Governor Holcomb issued a statement. Matt Tully set a high bar in the 4th Estate and was the master of the follow-up question, always digging deeper. He goes on to say, I will miss coffee and community conversations with Matt and think of the Tullys often.